Prerequisite lesson for solving quadratic equations by factoring. In solving quadratic equations by factoring, it is necessary to know how to factor polynomials, such as x squared minus 4. The factors are quantity x minus 2 and quantity x plus 2. X squared minus 2x plus 1, the factors are quantity x minus 1 and quantity x minus 1. X squared plus 3x minus 10, the factors are quantity x plus 5 and quantity x minus 2. This time, let's solve quadratic equation by factoring. The factoring method is considered as the easiest method in solving quadratic equations, but it has limited application. It's because it can only be applied to a quadratic equation that are factorable. The roots are obtained by getting the factors of the equation to the left side of the equation and apply the zero factor property. But the question is, how are we going to determine whether the quadratic equation is factorable or not? To check whether a quadratic equation is factorable or not, we need to get the discriminant. And the formula for the discriminant is b equals b squared minus 4ac. Again, we need to use the formula for the discriminant. D equals b squared minus 4ac. Now, if the value of d is a perfect square, then the given quadratic equation is factorable. But if the value of d is not a perfect square, then it is not factorable. For instance, the quadratic equation x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. Remember that the general form of the quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Then we could say that the value of our a is 1, b is negative 7, c is 10. This is factorable since the discriminant is equals to 9. And 9 is obviously a perfect square. Therefore, x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0 is factorable, and we can apply the factoring method in solving quadratic equation. Solving quadratic equations by factoring. In solving quadratic equations by factoring, we are going to use the zero factor property, and it states that let a and b be real numbers, variables, or expressions. If a and b are factors such that a times b equals 0, then a equals 0 and b equals 0. Here are the steps in solving quadratic equation by factoring. Step 1. Rewrite the given equation into its general form. Step 2. Factor the quadratic trinomial of the equation. Step 3. Apply the zero factor property. Step 4. Do the checking and conclusion. Now let's have some examples in solving quadratic equations by factoring. Direction. Solve the following quadratic equations by factoring. Example number 1. 3x squared equals 5x. Solution. The given is not yet in the general form of the quadratic equation, so we need to rewrite and follow step 1, the given equation into its general form. Again, rewrite the given equation into its general form. All we need to do is to simplify the given. I repeat, simplify the given. So you have there 3x squared equals 5x. All we need to do is to transpose 5x to the left side of the equation, which results 3x squared minus 5x equals 0. Then, step 2, we need to factor the quadratic trinomial of the equation. Though the given is not a trinomial, but still we can factor this one using common monomial factor, whose factors are x and 3x minus 5. Next, step 3. Apply the zero factor property. That means In these two factors, you're going to equate it with 0. So you will write there x equals 0, and obviously that would be our first value. On the other side, you will have there 3x minus 5 equals 0. Simplifying this, you can get 3x equals 5. Divide both sides by 3, cancel out the common term, x equals 5/3. So we have two values of x. X is equals 0, x equals 5/3. Step 4, do the checking and conclusion. Remember, in checking, you need to substitute the values of your x to the given equation. So if x is 0, write the given equation, substitute the value of x, which is 0. So you have there 3 times 0 squared equals 5 times 0. There's no problem with 5 times 0 because that is 0. But always remember, as you look at the left side of the equation, 3 times 0 squared. Remember to use PEMDAS every time you simplify a given equation. So 3 times 0 squared first. So you will have there 3 times 0 because 0 squared is 0 equals 0. Simplify, 0 equals 0, and that is true. Another value, if x equals 5/3, given, substitute the value of x, which is 5/3. Remember to follow PEMDAS. On the right side of the equation, you have there 5 times 5/3. That would be 25/3. Because remember, when you multiply fractions, numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. On the left side of the equation, you have there 3 times quantity 5/3 square. Remember to follow PEMDAS, so exponents first before you multiply those digits. So 5/3 square is equivalent to 25/9. Because 5 squared is 25, 3 squared is 9. Next, simplifying this, you can get 25/3 equals 25/3. And that is true. Lastly, the conclusion. Therefore, the values of x are 0 and 5/3. Example number 2. Quantity x minus 1 times quantity x plus 3 equals 5. Solution. Rewrite the given equation into its general form. That is our first step. So unfortunately, our given is not yet in the general form. So all we need to do is to simplify. And remember, if I say simplify, relate it with PEMDAS. So let's simplify. Quantity x minus 1 times quantity x plus 3 equals 5. Let's start with the left side. That would be x squared plus 2x minus 3 because we apply the FOIL method here, or we multiply this two binomial. Next, transpose 5 to the left side of the equation. So you will have there x squared plus 2x minus 3 minus 5 equals 0. Until we arrive with x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Next step, factor the quadratic trinomial. So we are going to use the AC method in factoring this trinomial. So in AC method, first, you're going to identify or determine the value of your A, B, and C. A here is 1, B is 2, C is -8. Next, draw the X mark. And then afterwards, Miss, what are we going to write in the X mark? So on the top of the X, you're going to write the value of your AC. Below, you're going to write the value of B. And then on the left and right side of the X mark, you look for, or you identify two factors whose sum is B and whose product is AC. AC means that the product of A and C equals AC. So if you have there A as 1, C as negative 8, your AC in this problem is negative 8. And your B in this problem is 2. Now, take note that 4 and negative 2 here are the factors of negative 8. At the same time, when you try to add 4 and negative 2, the result is 2. Again, 4 and negative 2, when multiplied with each other, the result will be negative 8. And when you try to add these two numbers, the result is 2. Again, AC is the product of the values of A and C. Next, in closing parentheses, you write there x plus 4, which is the first value or the first factor. Next, x minus 2, which is the second factor. Then divide these two factors by the value of A, which is 1. You have their quantity x plus 4 over 1 times quantity x minus 2 over 1 equals 0. Simplifying this, quantity x plus 4 times quantity x minus 2 equals 0. Next, apply the zero factor property. In each of this factor, you're going to equate this one with 0. So you have their x plus 4 equals 0. Transpose 4 to the other side of the equation, you have their x equals negative 4. And we have our first value of x. On the other side, you have their x minus 2 equals 0. Transpose negative 2 on the other side of the equation, you have their x equals 2. And that would be our second value of x. So x is negative 4 and 2. Now, let's do the checking and conclusion. Checking. If x is negative 4, write the given, which is quantity x minus 1 times quantity x plus 3 equals 5. Substitute the value of x with negative 4. So you have there negative 4 minus 1 times negative 4 plus 3 equals 5. Simplifying this one, negative 4 minus 1, that's negative 5. Negative 4 plus 3, that's negative 1, equals 5. Now, simplifying negative 5 times negative 1, that's 5. So, 5 equals 5 is true. Next, if x is 2, write the given, substitute the value of x, which is 2. So, you have there 2 minus 1 times 2 plus 3 equals 5. So, 2 minus 1, that's 1. 2 plus 3, that's 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 equals 5 is true. And then, you write your conclusion. Therefore, the values of x are negative 4 and 2. Example number 3. X squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. Again, luckily our given is already in the general form of the quadratic equation. So we proceed to step 2 by factoring the quadratic trinomial of the equation. So you will factor this one using AC method again. So first, identify the value of your A, B, and C. A is 1, B is negative 7, C is 10. Next, draw the X mark. Above, you can write the value of your AC. Below, you write the value of your B. Now, take note that on the left and right side are the factors of AC. Now, if we try to multiply the left side and right side, you will arrive with 10. And when you try to get the sum, the value will be negative 7. So, take note that negative 5 and negative 2 here are the factors of 10, which is our AC. At the same time, when added, the result is negative 7. I repeat, negative 5 and negative 2 are the factors of 10 whose sum is negative 7. Next, you write x minus 5, x minus 2. All you need to do is to copy those two factors. Next, divide these two factors by the value of your A, which is 1. So, quantity x minus 5 over 1. Quantity x minus 2 over 1 equals 0. And then, simplify. Quantity x minus 5 times quantity x minus 2. Step 3, apply the zero factor property. So you're going to equate this one with 0, each of these factors. So you start with x minus 5 equals 0. Transpose negative 5 on the other side of the equation, x equals 5. That is our first value of x. Next, x minus 2 equals 0. Transpose negative 2 on the other side, that would be x equals 2. So we have 5 and 2 as the value of x. Now, let's do the checking and conclusion. If x equals 5, write the given, substitute the value of x. So you will have there 5 squared minus 7 times 5 plus 10 equals 0. Do it term by term. So you start with 5 squared, that's 25. Negative 7 times 5, that's negative 35. So you have there minus 35. Next, copy 10. Now, in PEMDAS, in addition and subtraction, you start from left to right. So 25 minus 35, that's negative 10, plus 10 equals 0. So this is true. Next, if x is 2, write the given, substitute the value, which is 2. So you have there 2 squared minus 7 times 2 plus 10. So do it term by term. 2 squared is 4. Minus 7 times 2, that's minus 14. Then copy 10. Again, PEMDAS. So 4 minus 14, that's negative 10. Then copy plus 10. Simplify this one. 0 equals 0. And that is true. For the conclusion, therefore, the values of x are 5 and 2. Example number 4. 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Solution. Remember, step 1, we write the given equation into its general form. Luckily, our given is already in the general form. All we need to do is to proceed to the next step. Step 2, factor the quadratic trinomial. So, let's use the AC method since this is a trinomial. First, identify the values of A, B, and C. A is 2, B is 3, C is negative 2. Next, draw the X mark. Again, on the upper part of the X mark, you will write the value of AC. In the lower part of the X mark, you will write there the value of B. And on the left and right side of the X mark, you're going to write the factors whose sum is B and whose product is AC. So let's start with AC. AC. A times C. A is 2. C is negative 2. 2 times negative 2, that's negative 4. So our AC is negative 4. Next, B. B is 3. Next, look for two numbers or two factors whose sum is B, which is 3, and whose product is AC, which is negative 4. Now, take note that 4 and negative 1 here are factors of negative 4. At the same time, when added, the result is 3. Again, take note that 4 and negative 1 here are the factors of negative 4, which is the AC, and at the same time, when added, the result is 3. Next, in close and parentheses, x plus 4 times x minus 1. Divide the values of 4 and negative 1 with the value of your A. So you will have there quantity x plus 4 over 2 times quantity x minus 1 over 2. Simplify this, you arrive with quantity x plus 2 times quantity x minus 1/2 equals 0. Then, third step, apply the zero factor property. So, x plus 2 equals 0. Transpose 2 to the other side of the equation, you will have there x equals negative 2. So, the first value of x is negative 2. On the other side, you have there x minus 1/2 equals 0. Transpose negative 1/2 on the other side of the equation, you will have there x equals 1/2. So the second value of x is 1/2. So we have here negative 2 and 1/2. Next, checking. In checking, remember to use the values of x in substituting to the given. So if x is negative 2, write the given, substitute the value of your x. So you have there 2 times quantity negative 2 squared plus 3 times negative 2 minus 2. So remember to perform the PEMDAS. So exponents first before doing anything. So exponents. So you have there 2 times 4 because 4 is the result of negative 2 squared. Then negative 6 here is the result of 3 times negative 2. Continue simplifying. You will have there 8 because 2 times 4 is 8 minus 8. Where did we get minus 8? That's negative 6 minus 2. Simplifying that one, that's 8. Next, until you arrive with 0 equals 0. And that is true. On the other side of the equation, we have 1/2 as our value. Write the given. Substitute. Perform the PEMDAS. So exponents first before multiplying anything. So 2 times quantity 1/2 squared plus 3 times 1/2 minus 2. So let's do it term by term. 2 times 1/2 squared, you start with exponents, then followed by multiplying by 2. So 1/2 squared, that is 1/4. Next term, 3 times 1/2, that's 3 over 2. Minus 2 equals 0. Next, 2 times 1/4 is 2/4. Or simply 1/2. Next, 3 halves minus 2, that's negative 1/2. So the result will be 1/2 minus 1/2. Next, 0 equals 0. And that is true. Conclusion, therefore, the values of x are negative 2 and 1/2.